assigned to this sector. They report directly to me, so I can have a little bit of influence and control over what they do. And we'll find out, first of all, whether he already has a project in place addressing that issue, and if not, I'll create one for him, and he'll address it. Yeah.
Can you share your contact information before you go? Is that if you want my scribbles or if you want to send Mark's up, maybe?
I have a remanufactured business card from a previous assignment, but all the numbers are accurate.
Thank you.
We had an incident in our neighborhood with a man running down the street with a gun. And I wanted you to please pass along my thanks to South Precinct because the first officer responded while I was still on the phone with the 911. Very pleased.
I will pass that along, yeah, because when our communications section takes a call, your first contact is what they call a 911 operator or a call taker. And they have a very set triage that they go through to determine whether you need, what priority the call is. The calls are ranked 1 through 7, but a priority 1 call, man with a gun, someone actively being assaulted or victimized, we try to get there immediately. Some of the other calls get bumped down, and that's where we run into these issues of you feel like you never get an officer out. On a good day, during our working day is divided into 3 watches, what we call. First watch starts at 3 in the morning, goes till noon. Second watch comes in 11 in the morning, goes till 8 at night. And then third watch comes in at 7 at night and goes till 4 in the morning. 9-hour shift, 1 hour overlap. On a good day in the South Precinct, which is everything roughly from I-90 to Renton, on a good day we might have 20 to 22 officers to cover that area. And so if we brought all 20 officers in here in the room and you saw them all lined up together, you say, well, that's a small platoon. That's more than enough people to cover my neighborhood. But if you think about spreading those 20 or 22 officers out along that huge swath of land, we get pretty thin. And when the calls stack up, those tough decisions have to be made. Is where can we, what resources do we have available and where are they most needed? And sometimes you end up waiting several hours on a lower priority call, and it's not to dismiss your need or your interest in having the situation resolved. So by lower priority, that would be less important, but just what resources do we have available, what calls do we have holding, and who can we dedicate to it. I have to tell you, and not again, just not to sell you a bill of goods, but I've been completely impressed because I monitor the radio all the time. I've lost track of how many times a day. Well, let me back up just one quick second. When an officer gets a call, regardless of what the call is, when they're sent a call, they don't have the option to say, nah, it doesn't sound interesting, don't want to do it. They own that call, it gets sent to them. In our manual, it says the radio dispatcher speaks with the authority of the chief of police. So when the dispatcher says to Sam 1, you have this call, then Sam 1 owns that call. Start to finish, if there's any paperwork involved, and they don't clear from that call until they have it resolved. But I can't tell you how many times I've heard cars say, put my current call in handled status, which means they're maybe at the paperwork part of it, or it's to a point now where it's more or less resolved and not quite over. Put my call in handled status and I'll respond to that other call, either to back another officer. Officers take great pride in their district. Those sectors I described are further subdivided into beats, which are designated by a number. And if I'm to Sam 1, then I'm responsible for a chunk of Seattle. And most of the officers I know take great pride in taking care of their district or their beat. So if they're on a paper call and a high priority call comes out in their district, more often than not, they're going to say, put my current call in handle status and I will respond to that call. Whether either because it's my district and I'm responsible for it, or my fellow officers need backup. Well, the downside of that for the officers, if they do that 2 or 3 times during the shift, then it's time for them to turn in their car and go home, but they have these stacked up calls that they've put aside temporarily to handle something else. And they stay until all those calls are wrapped up and put away. So response time is always a tough issue. It's always a tough issue because when you call 911, you want someone there sooner rather than later. And sometimes it's just impossible for us to respond as quickly as we would like, and certainly as quickly as you would like.
Just time for one more question.
Sir?
Yeah, the last question. You said that there's 3 community representatives,
Community police officers.
community police officers.
Mhm.
The fraternal order of the police has a policy statement that we need more community policing, people living where they police, to develop those relationships. Do you think that we should have more community police representatives besides one for such a large area, for example? It seems like they're like a part of the problem with some of these issues is that we don't have the relationships between the police and the community.
Right. So what I guess the clarifying statement there is a community police team officer has a specific assignment as that community police team officer. The concept of community policing is department-wide. Every officer goes through community police training. Every officer is responsible to build relationships and be out in the community. So when we talk about the CPT or the community police team, we're talking about a small dedicated unit that deals with long-term projects. When we talk about community policing in general, we're talking about every Seattle police officer who has the obligation and the expectation from his chain of command to engage in community-based policing. It comes out with a bunch of different acronyms. There's problem-oriented policing, there's community-oriented policing, but it's all of this concept that the police department is there to serve the community by being a vital, functioning, interactive part of that community.
Well, clarifying question on this. Do you think it would be helpful if there was incentives for police officers to live in neighborhoods with their policing?
I know I'm out of time. Really briefly, I don't know how many of you remember the 2020 vision plan that was proposed in the department a few years back. I was designated as one of the project leads in that, and the specific directive that I was working on was hiring and recruiting the best officers. So I did a tremendous amount of reading on what makes a good officer. And the relevant studies that I read indicated that there was no discernible, statistically significant difference in the performance and success of police officers, whether they lived inside the city they served or not. One can make an emotional response or emotional argument that if you don't live in the city, you don't care about it. I take personal umbrage of that because I've never lived within the city of Seattle, and I've served the city for 30 years, and I love this city. I mean, I moved up here from out of state to go to school. I was going to pop in for 2 years and take off, and I've been here 32 years now, raised 5 kids. I consider Seattle my home now, and I honestly don't believe I would care any more about the city whether I lived inside or where I live now. And so you can make the argument, I suppose, from an emotional, philosophical basis that police officers should live in the city where they serve. The research study doesn't back that up.
Just let you know, I live over on 22nd Ward, so I'm in neighbors. And there's another officer that controls the center. Just those couple blocks away. So you have some folks who live in the neighborhood that, are in uniform.
Thank you very much. Related to this conversation, the memorial service for Robert Robinson is April 10th. And if you are interested in learning more about how to contribute to his memorial or how to help his family, the North Beacon Hill Facebook page has some information. We'll try to get something on our website. And they're accepting donations of food coordinated through a meal train program at Cleveland High School. So if you're interested in that aspect of things, and then if you're interested in hearing more from these gentlemen and our South Precinct staff, tomorrow is the meeting of the South Seattle Crime Prevention Council. That's on your agenda, and they meet.
Leave that to last.
When was the last one? Oh, that was the first Wednesday. It's usually the day after ours. It's the first Wednesday of every month. So, Robert Robinson's memorial is the 10th. And South Salem Fire Prevention Council, that's the wrong date, but it's the right time